Okay, so I've got a new desk to put together. This is a no tools needed assembly. Now, if you see my desk in the background, it's heavily cluttered, and I don't even have room for a printer on there. So the desk that I'm putting together is actually a duplicate of that desk. But I'm going to be splitting up what is getting put where. So I'll be able to have my printer, a standalone flatbed photo scanner, and some other things kind of on one desk, and then my large monitor and everything else on the other. And I'll be able to put my computer in between the two, so that the cords are able to work between them much more effectively than if I had it off to one side and was trying to work off of just a really large desk. I wanted to do a video on this specifically because that's the only part I need a tool for. Technically, you can do that by yourself. What I found with the other one, we've got these little boards. You can see how thin it is. They go in this top layer. These are really easy to break, so if you're not careful how you open the box, you can actually destroy them. Especially when you get to the long back piece. So these four are these bases. You have the top or bottom piece, it can be either. And you'll notice they've got this groove. The groove for these little pieces to fit into. So you have a piece here, a piece that has the space here, a piece here, a piece here, a piece here, and you kind of sandwich those top two layers together like that. Everything's out. So just a reminder, this is a no tools desk. It's Convenience Concepts Designs to Go, no tools student desk. The model on this is 131436. Now, they say no tools not because they provide you with tools, but because there are literally no tools. This is phenomenal for the purpose and what I'm doing with this. It's great. They literally all just screw into each other and are held together by that tension. This bag has top caps. These will go on the top of the posts when you're finished, and it has the feet. These are going to be the first things you screw into. But other than that, that box is done. So, I'm going to kind of put these in order as far as how I'm using or when I'm using them. These pieces that are the shortest use on the very top, so I'm going to use those last. These ones that are the middle height, well, you can guess where they go. They go in the middle. And the ones that are the tallest get used first, get it the highest off the ground, give you the most space between step 1 and step 2. So you have the most of the middle pieces. And of the biggest pieces. So I've got 4 of each of these, but then the littlest ones you only have 6 of. And that's because on the front you've got a larger opening, so the first set of posts on the inside they don't have on the very top there. And if I take the female part here and put it in to the bottom, or what side of it that I want to be the bottom, literally just screw this in place. Done. Do that 3 more times, and then I'm ready to move on to the next side. I've put together a lot of different desks from various furniture stores, IKEA, R.C. Willey, Costco, you name it, and the different desks that I've gotten, that I've put together, have never been this simple. See how easy that sits in, and just make sure that this female piece it's got a little piece of plastic that pushes up into the opening. Just make sure it's in there, and then you're ready to go. Okay, so that's side 1. I'll get side 2 going. Again, put the female part in at the bottom, the male part goes in on top. If you can't figure out why one end is called the male end and the other end is called the female end, you may want to have a talk with your mom and dad, or another trusted adult, because it might be time for a lesson about the birds and the bees. Now, if you wanted this part to be shorter and this part to be taller, you probably, without any issue, could do that. And I imagine you could have it taller on one side and shorter on the other, and you probably wouldn't have any issue. That's the hardest part right there, getting things together. But you probably wouldn't have any issue if you wanted this one to be, or if you wanted one of them to have these shorter ones on bottom and the taller ones on top. As long as both that structure and the structure on the other side end up being the same height, that's all that matters. If you wanted a really low desk, so you could sit at but had something higher up, you could probably adjust it a little bit around so that you had the main part down, and then did things a little bit differently going up. The middle post might be a little interesting on that, but otherwise it would work out just fine. Depending on how creative you got, you could do a lot of things with these. Another thing I liked about this desk when I was ordering it is that there were like 6, 7 different color options. So if you want white, that's great. If you don't want white, that's great. Because they had black, they had brown, they had blue, they had pink. There was a little bit of a price difference depending on which one you wanted. I actually wanted white, but I would have been happy with blue. So I guess the only issue you would have if you wanted to change where these are at is that one of these only has 3 holes. So the very top piece only has 3 holes. So that would be your only limitation as far as that goes. So after you got these sides assembled, I'm not worried about having both connected at the same time initially, because I realize I can get one connected and that'll give me a pivot point so I can get everything else aligned, and then I can have one entire side connected, and then I can worry about aligning the other side. Doing it like that to me makes sense, because then I don't have to worry about what this side is doing. It's almost like having an extra set of hands without having an extra set of hands, which again is one of the really nice things about this no tools setup. You're not left holding something heavy trying to figure out how things go together. It's just not that complicated. You might find out that you run into an issue if you happen to lose 2 of the posts that you need, which I seem to have done. I'll show you that fits like that. That one fits there. Fits here. And then here. And here. We're going crazy. I'm not missing any extra. Remember I said there were 6 of these? Because at this point you use your first 2 caps. This is why it would be helpful to use the instructions. I put the other one together yesterday, day before. But the instructions are literally front page showing you what it looks like, page showing you the parts, the order they go in, and then a brief description showing that yes, indeed, you use 6 and 2 end caps on this stage, which is step 3. I always think it's funny when they say, oh, it's easy, it's like 4 steps, but each step has like 10 parts. So you're like, well, is it 4 steps or is it 40 steps? And of course, marketing says it's 4 steps. And anybody that's ever been in production would tell you marketing is a big fat liar. You know how that clicked in? So I don't have anything screwed in yet. But when you get these lined up, you you just have a hand on either side. As long as your female ends on the posts are lining up inside the holes, these slats will kind of click into place because they're actually going like this and being too tall, lifting the lid up a little bit and then clicking. So sometimes putting them in, you'll actually lose the female end being in correctly. But that is it. Everything's lined up. Just add these end caps, and then I'll be able to put my second desk to good use, start getting my stuff organized in here, get back to editing photos and catching up on scans of film. Ironically, the film I'm scanning, some of it I was capturing coming up on 20 years ago. Probably most of it was 2000, 2001. And there's definitely some from 2005 now that I think about it. I slipped one of the boards out of place a little bit. And that's all she wrote. It's that easy. You can do it too. It'll take more tools to get the box open than it will be to put it together.